this man's testimony saved an innocent man from death row. He had to wait until the very last second. This is the story of James Giles, and it's one of those cases that just makes your blood boil. In 2003, James was just 17 years old when he was accused of raping a woman while she was walking home from her work as a waitress. It was a Monday night in January when someone called the police to say they had witnessed a crime. They said they saw a man attack a woman who worked at the Waffle House, but before the cops arrived, the witness left and they never found him. The woman told them that a stranger had approached her, shoved her into some bushes, and then did unspeakable things to her. She even hired a private investigator for help, but that still didn't work. He wrote letters, made phone calls, and did everything he could. Finally, someone listened. A man named Anthony Long came forward to say that he knew what really happened that night. He came forward with all of these details about where he was and what he saw, and it seemed legit. So why didn't he confess if he didn't do it? Well, that's because he was innocent. He said that he must have missed it because he was busy talking to another friend. And it was the biggest blow to the prosecution's case. Their star witness had just blown their case out of the water. But when he turned around, the woman was on the ground and James was standing over her. He said that he didn't see the rest of it, and the woman told him that she was fine. She said that she was in a bad place in her life and she was desperate for money. The worst part is that she's probably not the type of person who's gonna not have a change of heart. People like that never do. So she decided to sue James. She sued him for $1 million. She said that she wanted to make sure that he would pay for what he did to her. Also, be sure to check out these similar stories. We've been compiling more stories about people who spent too much time in jail. You'll find links to these stories below. But really, it seems like she was just looking for money. Why did he wait until James had spent more than 20 years in prison before he decided to speak up? Sometimes it's the fault of the justice system, or sometimes it's the fault of people like the woman in this case. He said that it's hard to move on after spending so much time behind bars. But thankfully, he has Anthony and everyone else who helped him get out. Well, according to him, he thought that James had confessed to his mom on camera, so he didn't think that anyone would believe him anyway. As for James, well, he's trying to rebuild his life. He doesn't let other people know about his past, but you can bet that he'll never forget it. But when he heard that it hadn't happened, he knew that he had to speak up. He said that he couldn't bear the thought of an innocent man rotting in jail for a crime he didn't commit. According to Anthony, James was crying and kept asking the woman if she was okay. She also said that the man had a tattoo on his hand that looked like an upside-down peace sign. They asked him if he'd be willing to give a sample voluntarily so that they could rule him out as a suspect. So he wasn't hopeful that this would make a difference. He pushed for the trial, and Anthony finally got on the stand and told his version of events. On this particular night, they were discussing something that was bothering James. Later, the woman agreed to talk to James's mom about it. They had talked before, and the mom always supported her son. But this time she was furious. She said, "You've caused enough trouble, James. Now we need to get your butt kicked." And that's when things got heated. He said, "I saw my cousin James walking down the street. He was talking to a lady and she was hugging him. She was the one who initiated the contact. They walked past me. I saw them exchange pleasantries. They were laughing. They were smiling." He also said that he saw them go behind a car together and they were whispering. But to his surprise, the judge ruled that he could be released while they investigated what Anthony had to say. He waited for months for Anthony to take the stand and tell his story, but it never happened. The prosecutors kept pushing it off. They didn't want to bring him forward. Well, sort of. What happened next was straight out of a horror movie. His mother was there when he was arrested, and instead of comforting him, she turned on him. She said, "I know you did it." Then she asked the police officer if she could hit him. Of course they said no. She started screaming at him, calling him names, and telling him how disappointed she was. This went on for a whole hour. How sneaky is that? What they didn't tell him was that this would be used against him later. Or rather, that was the beginning of it, because now they were going to build their case around his confession. But here's the thing, James didn't actually confess to the crime. Instead, he said he was guilty of something else. He said that he was guilty of having sex with the woman, but he claimed that it was consensual. He said that he didn't mean to hurt her and that he felt terrible about it. But that wasn't good enough. They wanted him to say that he did it, and that was the end of the story. And it definitely was when they came back with the results, saying that the DNA matched the evidence from the crime scene. The police later learned that only one person in the area known to have that tattoo was James, so they took him in for questioning. They didn't really have any evidence to charge him with anything, but what they did was obtain a DNA sample by using a ruse. After that, they read him his Miranda rights, and he confessed to the crime. After that, they put him in jail, and that was the end of it. He was sent to prison for 20 years. Then, after 5 years, his mom tried to get him to confess fully on camera. He ended up spending the next 19 years trying to convince people that he didn't do it. By this time, James had been in jail for over 20 years. And finally, James's lawyer had enough. That's not exactly how it went. The two were friends and met up regularly. Anthony said that he never saw James force the woman into the bushes. James's lawyer asked, "Did you see James Giles commit a rape?" And Anthony answered, "No." That was the only testimony that day. When the judge heard this, he dismissed the case immediately. It was over, but it wasn't easy. After 21 years, they finally set James free. Now, the question is, why did Anthony wait so long to come forward? Sadly, that's pretty common. There are plenty of innocent people rotting in prison cells around the world, and it's not always their fault. She admitted that she made the whole thing up and that she was sorry. So this woman ruined James's life for over 20 years for money. I hope that she feels guilty about it. In an interview after being released, James said that he still dreams about being in prison. After this case, Anthony became a minister. He dedicated his life to helping others. What do you think? Was the woman in this case truly sorry, or was she just saying that? Let us know your thoughts.